And I just find the carpet cleaning is like the perfect blend of being able to stay active without having to sit down all day long. I struggle with that personally, but also just the satisfaction of it because you can see the results instantly. We've had customers cry because of the results that we've had, and that's a very rewarding experience, I find. So.
Welcome to Proudly Dufferin, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Would you mind telling our audience who you are and what you do?
So I'm Chris. I do carpet cleaning with my brother. We own Heaven's Best Carpet Cleaning as well as upholstery. And we're based out of Dufferin here, and we live in Grand Valley. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I've done quite a few, carpet cleanings with you. And you always do an amazing job. Can you explain a little bit about how it all started? What were you doing before? When did you start?
Yeah, so I actually lived on the East Coast in Nova Scotia for about 10 years, and then COVID hit, and they ended up moving back. So that was 2020. And for the 5 years previous to that, my younger brother was working for the previous owner of the business, doing this exact same job, learning how to do it. And once COVID hit and the shutdowns happened, the previous owner decided to retire because he didn't want to get back up and running again.
Okay.
And it was at that moment we said, well, if you're looking to retire and sell the business, we're looking to buy, right? And I had just moved back here. I didn't really have a plan in mind of what I was going to do. So this just kind of fell into our laps. We thought this was a great opportunity for us to own our business for the first time. And so we went ahead with the process, and our very first month of business was during a lockdown with zero business. And we've been growing ever since then.
What were you doing before?
I have done a lot of jobs in my time. I'm kind of one of those jack of all trades type of people. I don't like to shy away from different experiences. So I drove a garbage truck for 10 years. I worked at retail. I worked in a medical office. I worked in the wine and craft beer industry for a short while, and that was through Ontario and on the East Coast. So I've kind of done a little bit of everything. And I just find that the carpet cleaning thing is like the perfect blend of keeping active without overworking yourself. I've kind of done multiple sides of that spectrum of, when you work very hard labor and you come home and you have no energy at the end of the day to take care of yourself or your family, right? And that's a little tough. And I just find the carpet cleaning is like the perfect blend of being able to stay active without having to sit down all day long. I struggle with that personally, but also just the satisfaction of it because you can see the results instantly. We've had customers cry because of the results that we've had, and that's a very rewarding experience, I find. So, yeah.
So I know your schedule is usually pretty full, but how many clients do you have usually in a day?
We get to about 3 or 4 in a day, generally. It depends on the size of the job. Upholstery takes a lot longer to clean than carpets. So if it's upholstery jobs, we'll do probably 2 or 3 in a day, depending on the size and how much furniture needs to be cleaned. But generally about 3 to 4 in a day. Yeah.
Nice, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
How many hours do you work?
We work a standard day.
Standard day?
Yeah, standard. So we're trying to get, like our 8 hours a day type of thing in. Again, we're trying to keep that balance in mind. I think that's really important to make sure that we're not working ourselves into the ground because we don't want to burn out. This is like a long-term thing for us. We want to make sure we're doing it for a very long time. So we find that's a really good balance there.
Yeah, and you do a pretty good job, so I'm sure you would be doing it for a very long time. Can you tell people a little bit about your process? Because I've dealt with carpet cleaners where they come in with a big hose that needs to come in through the house and then use their machine and how do you use the same process or how is it?
So our process is different than traditional methods. Traditionally, people come in with those big hoses from their trucks and generators, and what they do is they push water through the carpets and then they're trying to soak up as much as possible. That can create problems, unfortunately, because you can only ever pick up about 60% of the water that you put down. So the more water you put down, the more that gets left behind, sorry. And our process is different in that we're specifically not soaking the carpets all the way through. It's a light spray that we put on the carpets, and we use a floor buffing machine with a special carpet cleaning pad attached to it that scrubs the soap in and absorbs it up at the same time. And that allows it to dry in an hour without having to soak it all the way through. We still get the same thorough deep clean, disinfection, we deodorize everything, and we guarantee all of our work as well.
What kind of products do you use to clean the carpet?
We're a franchise, so we get our products from the franchise. Our soap is a very basic natural soap. It's water and citrus based, so there's no chemical additives to it whatsoever. The harshest thing that we use is a small spot treatment solution. If something is stubborn and we know it's going to give us a problem, we'll treat that specific spot with something specific, a coffee cleaner or an ink or like blood cleaner or something like that. Pet stains is very common. And then we just go over it with our solution afterwards to make sure that it's pH balanced, so there's no stains left behind. Things like wool and organic materials don't react well to certain cleaners, which is something you learn over the course of owning the business. Yeah.
Tell me about your process, like when somebody contacts you to booking and to what you do and how things work out. Maybe you can use examples without taking names, of course. Tell me about the whole process, like
Sure.
to end.
You can contact us by any method you like, whether you like to email, text, or phone. We have all the options available. If you phone in, you will be greeted by our very pleasant mother, who has been a business professional her entire life. She is very good at what she does. So it's a family-run business. It's just the three of us, and my brother and I do all the labor and most of the operations. But we tend to be very, very busy, and we can't answer the phone when we're on the job sites. So we just find that help while she's at home to help answer the phones. So you'll be greeted by her. We'll ask a few questions as to what you need clean, what the size of it is, because we're charging by the square foot generally. We'll book an appointment for you. Generally, 2 to 3 weeks is kind of our wait time in a general sense. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little bit less, depending on the time of year. And we'll come in and we'll greet you and do the cleaning at the appointment time. We'll measure everything up officially when we get there. We can do an estimate over the phone pretty well to give you a good idea of what it's going to cost, but we measure up specifically when we get there with a laser measuring tool to make sure everything's all good. And then we do the cleaning, and an hour later, your carpets are dry and clean. So yeah.
Yeah, they smell fresh.
Yeah, deodorization is a part of the process. So and we use an odor neutralizer that comes from the franchise. So it's not something that's going to mask an odor to give it like a temporary reprieve. It's something that's going to attack any bacteria that's causing smells and get rid of it. Something like Febreze does that as well.
So if somebody has done their carpet cleaning from, they've been doing it with somebody else where you said they penetrate water through the carpet and the floors underneath are all soaked and probably they have bacteria.
Yeah.
Do you think you can help with that? Or
we can. We've had that happen a lot of times. People will call their companies or try to do it themselves, right? So a common thing is that people will rent a machine from either Home Depot or the grocery store or something like that, and they'll go, I can attack this on my own. But again, those machines they come across as like a point and click type of machine, and they're not like that. They take some technique, and when they do it themselves, they find they've left it worse off than what they had in the first, and then they call us, right? So we can help with that. We can do extractions of certain spots, but we find just going over it with our process, we'll get that moisture out for the most part, and we'll help alleviate that issue. So it's common that someone, they have a very big room, the size of this room. They start to clean the first 10 square feet and it's been an hour and they go, oh my God, this is a much bigger job than I expected.
And the carpet is all soaking wet. I don't know, what is this machine doing?
And now it's left a spot. It's 3 days later, it's still soaking wet. And I'm really worried about it, right? Which is totally fair. And that's where we come in and we can do the entire area, the whole room in less than an hour type of thing. And it's dry in an hour. It's very convenient. We're not bringing super loud equipment into your home. You don't have to like stay off of them for a day or two afterwards, right? You can literally walk on it directly after we're done, like immediately.
Okay,
It's safe to do that. So, and there's no harmful chemicals in it that'll affect, pets or kids or anything like that. So, yeah, it's common for us to help people who have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would like to attest to it. And you, if you remember, you've done carpet cleaning in one of the properties that I listed, and there were tenants living in it before who had a dozen cats.
Yeah.
And when they left, the whole house was smelling so bad, and I have tried everything under the sun to get rid of that smell, and no, it didn't. It worked. I wouldn't say it absolutely didn't work. It worked, but not as much as we wanted, because when you're selling a house, you would need it to smell and look fresh.
Yeah.
And I left the windows open. I tried everything, and I realized most of the smell is coming from the carpet. The whole house didn't have carpet except the stairs.
Right.
And that's when I called you, like, can you clean those stairs? I did try to spray a little bit, and I have a tiny upholstery cleaner that I tried to use to vacuum. It didn't work. But I don't know what you did, but right after you cleaned it, all the smell was gone.
Honestly, I think that's just a matter of a very thorough cleaning. So you can clean spots, you can spray stuff in the air, but people don't realize that smells absorb into everything, right? They absorb into the walls, they obviously absorb into the carpets, and that's usually the source of things when it comes to pets, which is sorry.
And I didn't know where the smell was coming from. It was just, I felt when I was there that there were a couple stairs that were more stinkier than the other, and I remember telling you, like, I think that's where the smell is coming from, but you can't see anything.
Right. It's
Yeah.
in the carpet,
It's
and
in there, and you don't know where it is. So
Yeah.
you don't know, even if you were to spot clean, like, what to attack.
that's why it's good to have us come in, just do it all, right?
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
way you can at least cover all the grounds for it. And it's honestly just the process. It works very, very well. We get all of that area, we deodorize and disinfect, right? Pet stains are a daily thing that we deal with. We have very good experience at dealing with those. Those things we tend to get very, very good results on. I actually had a friend who reached out to me who was moving into a new home, and they needed their carpets cleaned for it. They did the showing, they loved the house, it smelled great, it looked great. And when all the stuff came out of the house, they walked inside and it reeked of like cat urine, right? And there was actually about, I want to say, over 100 tiny little spots all over the carpet that were completely hidden beforehand, right? And I feel like I got duped because I had no idea this was like this. And I was so glad that they called us, because we completely alleviated all the issue for them, right?
Yeah, it's probably when people are moving out, at that point, they shouldn't, but they don't care about the house, and they leave their cats in one room, and that's where the cats are while they are getting sorted their things. It shouldn't be like that, because then later on the house is gonna smell nasty.
We'd all like to believe that everybody's looking out for each other in today's world, because it's a tough world out there. But in reality, some people go, well, I'm not living in this house anymore, I don't need to take care of it. Last week, we literally had another person that exact same scenario. They moved into the house, it was in the evening, they left it in not great condition, and the homeowner was upset, how's this gonna come up good? And we went in and did our thing, and they were so happy with what we could do for them, right? And it's just a matter of, like, again, the pet hair, and just that thorough clean. I mean, this customer was impressed just after we vacuumed. He goes, it looks so different,
Yeah,
I haven't even cleaned that yet. All I've done is vacuum it, right? So we like to think we get pretty good at our job, but we're very, very thorough. We get into every single nook and cranny that we possibly can. And those are the type of things that we deal with on a daily basis, the pet stains and things. That's just that's second nature for us now at this point.
Yeah, and with the carpet especially, it doesn't look dirty until you vacuum it. And then especially in the stairs, I hate that, because
Stairs.
they are the difficult the most difficult part to clean. It's like you are with a small thing in every corner. It's
Yeah.
because even when you cleaned it, no, there is dirt in here. I can see it.
Yeah, and if people have like a runner as opposed to completely carpeted, it can get underneath very
Yeah.
easily, right? And stairs are high traffic. They're hard to clean in general, so they tend to collect a lot. I do a lot of the stairs in our business. I just like doing them. I have a personal point of pride that I get really good results on them, and I always take that as a challenge that I think I do a great job on them. So I only have good compliments on it. They tend to be a challenge that I look forward to because you get into those nooks and crannies.
No, you really do an amazing job, and having used your services personally, and especially in that house that I tried, and the cleaners have been there like 3 times, and I've sprayed everything that PetSmart recommended, and it still stinks. Every time you open the door, it's in your face, and you just don't know what to do. And
Yeah.
you saved me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad we could do that for you. That's the goal. So I'm very glad to hear that.
So how big are your machines? How
No bigger than the size of me. Generally, they're all we lift them all using manual labor. We go up and down the stairs with them, lifting it. We don't have to have anything that needs a dolly to come into the house. We have no extremely large equipment. The loudest thing that we generally use is our vacuum. Our upholstery machine is pretty loud. We use hearing protection for that, but that's because when it comes to upholstery, you have to soak it all the way through. Cushions are very thick as opposed to carpets where they're very thin. So the only way to get to like the middle of the cushion where everything absorbs to is to soak it in. So we need a very powerful machine to do that. So that would be the loudest thing that we have, but we can still carry it all by hand. And a big advantage to that is a lot of the traditional cleaners with those big machines, the truck generator and the big pumps and things, those all cost energy to run, which ultimately gets passed on to the customer. Whereas for us, like we plug into a wall outlet, that's the most amount of energy we're gonna use. And everything else is manual labor. So we can come in at a much lower cost just because our energy cost is so much less, right? We book efficiently so that we're not driving around all areas in the same day, so we can save on like fuel costs that way. We don't want to be upping our rates just because we're driving around a whole lot more, so we try to do it as efficiently as possible that way. But the energy cost is a really big difference. When you see those trucks with the big generators, they cost a lot to run, right? And we just don't have that cost to it, so it's easy for us to come in at a lower price point and still guarantee our work to our customers compared to other methods.
So do you only do residential or?
No, we do commercial as well. Commercial is something we try to focus more on now these days. It's a lot easier to get into a place and do one place in a day as opposed to drive around to 4 places. But we do both, right? And I do enjoy the customer interaction. Like I said, we get pretty good results. I've had a customer end up in tears before because they were so happy with the results. That's extremely rewarding, and I wouldn't want to lose that, right? But even when we have contracts at Chartwell, the senior residence, and at Avalon, Lord Dufferin, all those places trust us to come in and disinfect everything. They're always very satisfied with our service, and we take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, and those places, they have seniors who are more prone to diseases and maybe allergies. So
and the carpets will absorb anything that comes down onto it. The disinfection is really the big part of that, right? And they're industrial carpets. You're never going to be blown away by the result of how they look. They're going to look, clean, obviously, but they're industrial carpets. They're kind of designed to hide things, but it's that disinfection that really matters, right? Because if you went years at a place like that without cleaning them, you could just be festering things in those carpets and not even know it, right? Yeah, it's a health issue at that point. Same thing in houses, right?
Carpets are the breeding grounds where you don't see the dust and the bacteria getting accumulated, but it's there.
Yeah, and it's not even like if you didn't have carpets, that stuff would still be around. It'd just be in a different place, right? So we're not saying that carpets are evil, but
they're not evil. It's just like when you don't see the dirt, you don't clean it.
Exactly.
So which is what it's the habit when you have floors.
Yeah.
Then that's just my perception.
Yeah.
You see the dirt on it, so you are bound to do a thorough deep clean weekly. With carpets, you might just put it off, do it once a month. which is where the difference is. The difference is not the carpet, it's just your habits that
Exactly.
you're forming by having that carpet.
And honestly, you know, a lot of people, families with kids and pets, the carpet cleaning, if they don't see it right there, they have a million other things going on that are much more important. So it's totally understandable that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
carpet cleaning isn't top of mind and it can get pushed off, right? And life is hard these days for, I'm sure, a
Yeah.
lot of people. It's very, very busy and they just don't have the time. And that's where we come in, right? We can come in and do that all for you in a short amount of time while you're home working if you want to. We're not going to interrupt you. Like, we're very convenient in that way. We pride ourselves in being an extremely convenient process, so it's not interrupting your daily life. And we can take care of that for you. It's a whole thing off your plate that you don't have to worry about anymore, right? And I like to think that that's making a big difference for a lot of families. I know people are driving their kids around to, you know, sports practices and other extracurricular
Right.
activities
Yeah.
all the time, and the dog's running out and running back in, and you know,
Yeah.
that all gets very overwhelming quickly, and then, you know, something more important is going on anyway
Right.
than the
Yeah.
carpets.
Get it done in the morning or maybe
Yeah.
late evening and then forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I think that we come in and we can just provide so much peace of mind to people. They go, this is an issue. I know it's frustrating you or it's stressing you out. We can completely take that off your plate here. Let us take care of that. You can sit back and relax and have a coffee. You can put your feet up. I've literally had people put their feet up on the table while I vacuum underneath them. I encourage them to do that. I want them to feel comfortable with us in their house. You're inviting us in to do that work. We're going to pride ourselves on being as friendly to you as possible so that you'll have us back. That's the highest honor that you could pay us, right?
Do you have any clients who are who call you on a regular basis, and how
Yes.
often?
So standard time in between cleanings would be about a year. That's industry standard. And we have more repeat business now than ever. We offer to call people back on a yearly basis as well as a reminder, because again, it's not the thing that's top of mind for people. So we just offer just a courtesy call to say, hey, it's been a year. If you'd like to have them, we can book you in now. And most of the time, they're, oh yeah, it's been a year. Thank you for calling. We'll get that
Yeah,
booked
we'll
now,
get that
right?
done, yeah.
So, and we could take, again, that part off your plate. So we recommend about once a year, especially if you got families with kids and pets, it'll build up quickly. For
Yeah.
sure. Any business that has people coming in and out, it's a really good idea to have them done once a year. Even if you don't necessarily see it or think it's important, it's going to make a big difference in your office for the health and just for the maintenance of it all, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you think about an office like here, you want people to walk in just like a house and have a good impression, right? And that can really be a big difference in how that first impression goes down.
And sometimes when you regularly get it done, it's just when you enter that room, you know that this is fresh.
It
Carpets are clean.
feels lighter
Yeah.
when you walk in. Honestly, even though I'm around the stuff all the time, you can notice it immediately. So you do all the cleaning, you put the stuff in the truck, you walk back in to finish up like the grooming of the carpets. We rake them all out to make them look as professional as possible and as new as possible. Like, you can literally feel it in the air. It's way better.
Yeah, and I go to a lot of homes, I do a lot of showings. I enter a room and I can tell these carpets are dirty or they're clean.
Yeah.
They don't look maybe as new. Maybe they're worn out, but they're clean.
Yeah, and that's a big difference too. Even things that when they're worn out, if they're older, you could tell when they're clean and when they're not.
Yeah.
We get some pretty dramatic results on those type of carpets. And even though you could see, you know, the carpet's compressed in certain high traffic areas, but it's still all very thorough clean. It smells clean. It looks clean. Like, you could tell very quickly that. And that's the difference, you know, if people walk into a house, whether they're buying or selling a house, if they walk in and they see, oh, they're old carpets, but these are clearly been maintained, that's the
Yeah.
difference between someone coming in and going, that's a problem that needs to come off the price of the house, or that's not something we need to worry about, we can focus on something else, right? It's a pretty big difference, honestly.
That's right. Yeah. And when you know okay, there is a carpet. I know I don't like carpet personally. I want to change it, but it's not something that is on my plate right away.
Yeah, it's a big job,
Yeah,
right? And
but
it's inconvenient.
If it's clean, yeah.
Yeah, and if it's clean, you can go, at least I can think about that later.
Exactly.
I don't have to deal with that right now. And that's, especially if you're moving into a new house, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you have kids, you know that the carpets are clean, so you can relax for a bit.
And that's honestly the health part of it too. So
Yeah.
kids get down onto the carpet to play. So their hands and knees get on it, and the first thing their hands goes to their mouths. So
yeah.
anything that's in the carpet is now directly into their mouth, right?
Yeah.
And that could be, you think of pets and what they leave behind. You know, I know people love dogs, and I do too. I love all pets, but dogs clean themselves by rubbing themselves on things, right? They're not like cats who kind of tend to do that maintenance mostly on their own. But dogs, you know, very commonly will rub on the ends of couches or on carpets, right?
Yeah.
And that stuff all absorbs in. So even if like you can't see it, that stuff is just building up in there.
And I'm just curious now, what is the nastiest thing you had to clean and you were like, I don't think how this is gonna come off?
You know, we cleaned a couch one time, and the customer told us that the dog had a serious illness internally, and whatever happened, things came out into the couch. That's why they needed it cleaned. And it didn't exactly look that bad. It was a darker colored couch, so you couldn't exactly see too much. It looked pretty standardly dirty. But when we took the machine and you went over it, looking at the color of water that came out of it, I thought, this is legitimately a biohazard. Like, I was glad at the time we were wearing masks because it was that time during COVID. But I thought, I can't believe people are sitting on this thing, because every time like a kid would go like and sit on the couch, it must just be like this, right?
Was it the whole couch or
it was
a spot?
a large portion of the like 1.5 seats, I would say, that it was covering. And I mean, it was almost black coming. It was one of the most disgusting things I'd ever seen. I just remember thinking about the health issue, right?
How they were living there.
Because it's in the air, right? And that's, I just thought it was like a biohazard, right? And I thought that's got to be an extreme health situation.
Were you able to clean it?
We were, 100%.
It looked different?
Big time, and they were extremely satisfied with it, right? Because the smell is completely gone at that point, and you could tell the difference just on the surface. But again, it's that lightness in the room, right? You don't really notice it because it's progressive. When you're living in it, you don't notice it. But as soon as it's gone, you're like, wow, what's different in here, right?
What's different?
And it's like, that was in your couch, right? It's not even like in the walls or anything like that. So
you can't see it, but you were smelling it.
Yeah.
And it was...
You can feel it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was very rewarding, but that was one of the grosser things I've come across. We're not a disaster company. We're a maintenance company. So if we come across things that require like a repair, that's out of our scope, unfortunately. But we're willing to take on, almost anything. Sometimes the customer, if they describe, I had a pet accident, like, okay, well, we can clean that up for you. And we get there and it's like, that's a lot more serious of an accident than we expected. But we're here now. Like we try to be honest and say we don't fully expect, to be 100% brand spanking new when we're done, but we're going to clean and disinfect it for you, and we're going to do the best we can. We had a situation in the last month that happened, and there was like a pet diarrhea problem. It was a small pet, but still, it was an older customer. They weren't capable of getting down and cleaning everything up by themselves, so they called us. We weren't fully aware of it, but we got on site, like, oh my God, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But, we took our tools and did everything we could for them. I mean, it came up so spick and span. The customer was so happy about it. The smell is completely gone. The stains are completely gone. And that's a situation where, the type of carpet helped us out, because it's Berber carpet tends to clean better than, like wool. And it wasn't white. So, the stains don't show as easily, so it was really like a best case scenario that way. But that worked out really, really well. You get surprises every once in a while, and you're like, I think we can tackle this. We don't come across things too often that are like, you need something else to deal with this, right? It has happened rarely, but just a part of the business, right?
I'm glad you were able to do the thorough clean and get rid of it.
That's what my experience is like on a garbage truck really helps out. The smells don't really faze me at this point in my life anymore. I'm kind of used to it. So at least gross things don't totally gross me out as much as maybe some others.
Do you also do the upholstery cleaning for vehicles, or is that out of scope?
Yes, we do. That is something that we started doing after we took over the business. The previous owner didn't. So we will clean the upholstery and the carpets in the car very thoroughly. The floor carpets, the trunk carpet, and the upholstery. We try not to focus on doing like specific car detailing where we're taking all the products into like the dash and all that kind of stuff. We will wipe everything down to make it look as good as possible, but we definitely focus on like, the backseat bench where your kids are, or like the car seat. I know people commute to work very long distances from here, so that driver's seat can contain a lot.
Yeah.
Myself included, I clean mine pretty regularly because of that. So yeah, we definitely can do that. We just generally need like a nice day to do it, or a place where the car can sit with the car doors open. So the winter time would be a bad time to do that unless you can keep it indoors. But in the summertime,
Yeah,
if
unless
you
you have
can,
a garage that's
Yeah.
vacant and you can, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And if we can, it's nice on like a spring or summer day or something when it's nice outside, the sun's out, because it'll dry up in, maybe a couple hours tops or so, just with the air getting to it. And
So is it a different thing where you penetrate the water, that's why it takes longer to dry?
it's just the upholstery cleaner. So the same upholstery machine, again with upholstery, we have to soak it all the way through. It's a little bit different than the carpets. And that's just because of the thickness of the upholstery specifically. Things absorb inwards and they keep going in. And the only way to get to the middle of it is to try to push soap and water into it and then extract as much of it out as possible. So upholstery does take longer to dry generally. If you had your couch cleaned outside, it would dry in like a couple of hours. But if it's inside, it's going to take like up to 12 hours to dry, right? It's not left soaking wet, it's left damp, so it's safe to sit on if you really wanted to. I always tell people, if you waited 6 hours and you wanted to sit on it tonight, like put a towel down. If you can live with a lightly damp back, that's your worst case scenario type of thing, and it'd be dry the next day. So
That's if it's inside. If it's outside, it's gonna
dry
on a summer
quickly.
day.
Yeah. It's common for us to, we clean everything, every square inch of a couch. We'll take the cushions off, both sides of it and everything. And sometimes the customers will just take the cushions, put them outside for an hour or two, and they dry up very, very quickly because of that. And then the frame allows to dry a lot faster because of that too, right? So that's pretty common to see. The airflow is what you want to try to get it dry, right? The more air, the more it'll absorb into the air and then flush away, right? And then the misconception that people have with that, if I turn up the heat in the house, will it dry faster? Because people think heat and evaporating.
In winter,
But the problem with that is like humidity, right? So air will absorb moisture, and once the air is saturated with moisture, that's where we feel the humidity. The water has nowhere to go anymore. So we have, some older customers who think the idea is to turn up the heat, and then they call us the next day, oh, it's not totally dry, and we're like, well, the moisture has nowhere to go. The air is saturated. So what we tell people to do is either open your windows, get airflow to it, or turn on your air conditioning. And that will help suck the moisture out of the air, at least like cycle it through. And that way the moisture can keep getting absorbed into the air without being saturated.
Was it in the winters when they turned the heat on?
I'd love to say it was in the winter, but some people like to have their houses warm even in the summertime. So,
oh my God.
This is where the spring has been kind of nice work-wise, where it's been a little on the cool side, because our machines kick out a lot of heat. It's physical work. We're going up and down a lot of stairs. We're hauling equipment up and down stairs. It can get warm pretty quickly. So, the cooler air is generally preferred that way. But we're going to get the job done regardless. Even if it's going to be hot in there, we'll step outside and take a drink of water or something like that. Lots of customers are very kind and offer us water. And that's got to be one of the nicest things anyone could ever offer, is a cold drink of water on a hot day sort of thing, right?
Of course,
And not obligated to, obviously.
A little bit of kindness never hurt,
They see us dripping buckets of sweat. I sweat when I start to get going, right? And like, wow, you're working pretty hard, eh? It takes like two of us, an hour and a half to clean this couch with two machines, and we're just going at it, right? So it can heat up pretty quickly that way.
Do you give people tips on how to keep it?
Absolutely.
Clean
That's a
and
part of the
fresh?
service. We want people to feel confident that they can maintain it as well, and when they need to, have us come in. We don't want them to have to call us if they don't need to. We're honest people. We're not looking to score more business on someone when they don't need it, right? So we will offer every single tip. We tell them to call us if they have any issues, if any questions. We'll give them every single tip that they need to help keep it good for whatever they need until they need us to come
need it,
clean it.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty common for us to do that. Yeah.
What's your number one tip?
Number one tip, just the general maintenance. So if carpets, vacuum them once a week would be more than enough just
Yeah.
to help things from building up in them. For upholstery, get them cleaned once a year. If you have a family with kids and or pets, get them cleaned once a year. I promise you there is stuff sitting in those cushions that you do not see. And you know, a lot of people will say, well, I could take the cover off of the cushion and I'll clean the cover. And I'm like, we're not cleaning the cover, we're cleaning the cover as well as the cushion, right? The stuff is in the cushion, not the cover. So I think I try to tell people, like, get the whole thing cleaned. It's worth it. I know it can take up some time and it might not be like the top of mind or what you want to pay for in your budget. We're pretty reasonably priced. We do a very good job, but I promise you it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's always secrets in couches, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
So let's say I have a couch and my son sat on it with yogurt, and now I looked over and there's yogurt all over. What do I do?
Honestly, absorb the content up as quick as possible. That's got to be the number one tip. Even if it's just water, put a little bit of water on it and take a towel and you're trying to either push to absorb it up or rub it out, and then a little bit more water and keep doing it. When it dries is when you have a problem. If it stays at least moist or damp, it's not going to stain that way. Once it dries is when that happens. Yeah, and you don't need any special kind of cleaner. You just need a little bit of elbow grease and something to dilute it. You know, the more diluted it is, the less chance it has to create a problem or to smell or to stain. So honestly, just getting to it quickly and absorbing it up. Number one tip. Yep.
That's wonderful.
Yep. Even when it comes to pet stains or something, it doesn't matter what it is. If you can just absorb it up as quickly as possible, and then call us, and then we can finish it off for you. The success rate from that happening goes through the roof. Sometimes people call and they're just not familiar. So something happens, they spill a coffee on the carpet. Like, I called you, I didn't want to touch it. Well, we can't get to you right away. So by the time it dries, now you have a stain and it's a problem, right? But if you just try to put some water on it and with a damp towel and just try to soak it up, that'll probably come out no problem at that point.
If, let's say, milk spilled on a rug and it dried, the rug is gone.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Milk shouldn't be too much of an issue. It's things like paint that you have a problem. Milk will stink. We can get that. That'll come out no problem, honestly. Milk I wouldn't worry about. It's things like paint that bonds to the fibers of the carpet. They don't just like color it. It's a physical substance that goes on top and it sticks. And it's basically impossible to come off at that point. We could treat it with whatever we want and it's never going to break down. You need to like cut that stuff out. That's a problem, right? And we've had customers call us where they spilled large amounts of paint onto a floor. So again, keeping it moist. If you take a damp towel, put it on top of the paint section, don't let it dry, call us, have us come in as soon as we can. And we've cleaned entire giant paint spills because of that. And
I've seen acrylic paints that the kids use.
yeah.
They've been painting over the carpet and then there's glitter all over.
Yeah. That happens for sure.
Yeah.
Makeup stains are pretty common. Marker stains on carpet. I've seen kids drawing like faces on carpets and stuff like that. And those are all touch and go. It depends on the type of carpet, depends on like the type of marker or makeup that's being used.
Do they come off?
I'd say like 50-50. It really depends on the type of product, how long it's been there, the type of carpet. There's a lot of different factors that decide that for us. We do everything we can on them, but sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So it's just a part of the process. They're clean. It's just once the physical pigment of the carpet has changed, like that's a stain, that's damage at that point. Yeah. You need to dye it back in order. It's clean. It's just physically a different color now, right? The pigment has changed on it.
Right.
Yeah. But honestly, there's not too much we can't handle. Only in extreme circumstances can we not. So like I said, like a paint drying already on it and it's just like a solid chunk, that's not going to come off anymore. You have to, cut that out, right?
Yeah.
That's not a cleaning thing at that point. The carpet's clean. It's just it's got something on it.
Yeah, it's got something stuck onto it that you can't take off. Yeah,
like a 100-year-old piece of gum is never going to come out. You're just going to cut that part out, right?
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Chris, for sharing all of that information. For people who are interested in carpet cleanings, and you should get your carpet cleaned every year, as Chris said.
Highly recommend
Yeah.
once a year. Yes.
Where can they find you?
You can find us, we have a website, heavensbestorangeville.ca. You can call us, 519-927-7799, or you can email us at heavensbestorangeville, sales at heavensbestorangeville.com, sorry.
And I'll get all that information
Yes.
from you and put it in the notes.
Yes,
so
please,
it's there.
Yeah, so you can contact us those ways. We have a Facebook page as well that you can look us up on. Look up our Google reviews. We're very, very proud of that. We have only 5-star Google reviews. My brother and I have worked for every single one of those, and I can attest to every single one. So
Yeah, and I can attest to Chris's work. So if you need your carpets cleaned, contact Chris.
thank you. We're very, very proud of our work. It's good, honest work. We just want to make sure that we're being friendly to everybody, that we're doing a good job, that we're honest with people, and that way you'll call us back. That's the highest honor you could pay us. That's what we're working for, to make people happy.
And how far do you go from Dufferin?
We cover all the Dufferin and Caledon area for the most part. We generally stick to about an hour around Orangeville, give or take, depending on the situation, and how big the job is. Yeah.
All right, well, it was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.